uncultivated rabbits. Uncultivated rabbits.
Uncultivated Rabbits, if y'all don't know, it's the only spoken word organization on campus. So for sure, I love it that I'm here. And MSU, thank you for putting on this event. And to go on with the theme of oppression and with social injustice, I strongly feel that the best and most effective way to handle that is through activism, community activism, get involved, participate. And this is a relatively new piece. And this is, well, first off, I love activists. Alright, any activists over here? This poem right here, though, is dedicated to those who claim to be activists, but they're not doing anything. I was a little mad when I wrote it, so there we go. Everybody wants to be an activist, but once their backs are against their wall, their clenched fists become open palms. Where's the revolution? Public space versus private institutions. I see students taking part in the marches, but the saddest part is when they have a midterm the next day, the revolution suddenly takes a back seat. To my knowledge, change is not as easily given as a left turn signal on a green light. Sometimes we must run through the red lights to get pulled over, just so we could talk to the face of law. Sometimes we must break through the dividers of what divides us, go against those who follow the other direction just to get their attention. Everybody, please turn your headlights on. This is not a poem encouraging reckless driving. I still say put your seatbelts on because this is going to be one hell of a bumpy ride. Everybody wants to be an activist, right? Everybody wants to fight for a cause. Everybody wants to fight for the God. Everybody wants to get involved. Come one, come all. Join the revolution, but know what you're fighting for. Know what cause. Know which God. Know when you get involved, like a relationship, somebody eventually is going to get hurt. This is not for paper hearts, but for crumpled dreams. The lost speeches of Martin Luther King. Fahrenheit 9/11 was only a scratch on the surface. Immortal technique. Listen, but read. We must document histories instead of watching only documentaries. Know your perspective. Know when you say with or with no protection. Know your responsibility. Everybody wants to be an activist. It's killing me. If you want to be an activist, then prove to me. If not to me, then to he and she. If not to he and she, then to history. If not to history, then to your own self. To be an activist, know what action is. With an activist, as classic is with jabs and kicks. To be an activist is to be more than just imaginative. Tell me, are you an activist?
So we got three more performers till Amir Sulaiman comes up and does his thing. So the next performer is actually a man named Nasser Malin. Is there Nasser Malin somewhere in the audience? So like a few people came up. This is actually my first time ever doing spoken word. And I don't really know if there's a specific format, but mine has two parts, and I'm going to say part one and part two. So here we go. So part one. Coming out of Bombay, where it's hot like every other day, but not just because of the weather, but also because of the attitude. Everything that happens defines the mood. Bombs going off, violence in the streets. When so many people are acting like this, could there really be peace? Hindus killing Muslims, Muslims killing Hindus. Why the hell are we fighting for? They live in the same place we do. You can love your neighbor, but not the person next door? This just makes no sense. Then we escaped and got our chance to flee. Coming out of this, How come they ain't calling me a political refugee? Part 2. Life's like a dice toss. You never know when you're gonna get hit with loss. Growing up not fully understanding, but having a feeling, and it gives dear mama a whole new meaning. The only candy she was able to give me cost about 10 cents a piece, but it was still enough to give me peace of mind. Looking back, it becomes clear that the true definition of a model minority is the desired model for a minority is a group entrenched in poverty. Isn't it funny how the opposite, something that seems like it's got nothing to do with anything, could show you something? Like how poverty shows you greed, how grief could give you joy, how hate could give you love, how death could give you life. But going through some of that pain and strife, it makes things a little bit easier when you want to see the good in life.